Hi! I'm Danielle Weaver, founder of Infinite Chance. If I know you personally, we probably haven't seen each other in a long time. And if I don't know you yet, we definitely haven't had a chance to meet this year. I miss seeing you and personally telling you what Infinite Chance has been up to. I miss meeting new people who are interested in getting involved with us. And I really miss taking you to Guatemala. But I know in my heart that we're on the home stretch, and soon we'll be having big masquerade events, taking trips down to Guatemala, and meeting in coffee shops for small conversations about really important things. But in the meantime, I wanted to keep you updated on what Infinite Chance has been up to, and everything we've still been able to accomplish this year with your help. Usually we have a big event where we can tell everybody everything exciting that's happened, but obviously this year we can't. So I'm gonna take you on our 2020 journey. I hope you take the time to watch this video, because if you've come across it, you've probably played a role in getting us through this year. We want you to see what you've helped us do. We are eternally grateful. I'll try to move quickly, but here is our 2020 story. As a team, we hit the ground running in 2020, coming off of a high of our masquerade event the year before, where we raised just over $52,000. In January, we were able to buy brand new uniforms for every child in Hogar Miguel Magone, approximately 80 students. We also started covering the salary of an on-site preschool teacher at Hogar Miguel Magone, where approximately 20 students would be receiving daily preschool lessons and wouldn't have to travel anywhere to get them. We also enrolled 7 students in trade school degree programs in existing trade schools in Guatemala. They chose the courses of study that were most interested to them, and they got started on their 2-year degree paths. We obviously kept going with our computer program in our computer lab, where approximately 65 students were receiving 2 computer classes per week. And we launched our English program, which we were so excited about. We hired our first teacher on the ground. Her name is Monica, and she has over 30 years of teaching experience. We were so lucky to find her. We hired her in January, and the idea was for her to have a couple of months to write the curriculum that she would be using with our students. Obviously, our students have a very wide range of academic abilities. Some have had a lot of schooling, some have had very little. So we wanted her to design a curriculum specifically for each group of students she would be teaching. And then we had a group planned in March who would go down to the home. They had already given us the use of a storage area that they had full of stuff. They said, if you guys can come down and help us convert this into a classroom, you guys can use it for your English program. And they were so excited. So we had 18 people who were scheduled to go in March, and we would be converting this storage facility for our English program. So Monica got straight to work. And in the meantime, we created an Amazon wish list to be able to equip our English classroom in Guatemala as well as we could and get the kids super excited. We wanted brand new items for different styles of learning. We wanted bright colors. We wanted decorations. We wanted to get these kids as excited about learning English as we were about teaching it to them. In February, we started getting a huge response to our Amazon wish list. We had so many boxes come from so many different people. It was as if everybody loved the idea of sending something physical for our students to use in Guatemala. It was incredible. We got everything we asked for and more. So we packed it up in suitcases and we waited for our March trip. As a board, we started planning our 2020 event schedule. We decided that instead of having one huge event, we would have several mini events in hopes of expanding our audience and reaching more people. So we decided to have 2 to 3 mini events per month for the year of 2020, which you can imagine that went really well. Our main event was going to actually be our first 5K race. And so in February, we started visiting tons of parks and scoping out where we could do our 5K. And we actually booked Armco Park. So not many people know that. We never went public with the news, but we had booked October 3rd at Armco Park for our very first 5K Strides for Education. In March, we kicked off our mini events. We started with one at Kendra Scott and one at Chipotle. But our main excitement in March was our trip to Guatemala, our Glimpse of Guate tour. It was sold out. There were about 18 of us headed down on March 21st. We were so excited to convert the storage closet into a bright and exciting English room. We had all of our donations that we had collected with the Amazon wish list packed up and 15 suitcases, and we were so excited. We were also going to be taking the kids to an amusement park for the very first time. We were going to take them off-site for a field trip. And like I say, we were ready to leave on March 21st. But then COVID. The world seemed to stand still mid-March, and on March 12th, unfortunately, we had to make the decision to cancel our trip. And on March 16th, days before we were scheduled to arrive, Guatemala closed its borders to all foreigners. It's traumatic thinking back on it, but our immediate response to the COVID-19 pandemic included stopping our English and computer programs for safety and to align ourselves with the government mandates. We were able to get 150 masks for the students, and this was when masks were very difficult to get a hold of. We immediately sent emergency funds to the home because their donations started to slow down. They usually rely on a lot of local donations of food, and obviously everybody was worried about getting enough for themselves as well, so they saw a slowdown in donations, so we sent funds down to make up for that. We started covering taxi fares for the staff of Hogar Miguel Magone, first of all to avoid having people go on public transportation and risk exposure, but then eventually public transportation actually closed down, so we were getting the staff back and forth to the home. We delivered a first round of antibacterial soap and disinfectant. Again, this was when it was really difficult to get a hold of, but we have some excellent contacts on the ground, and that's why having Monica, our English teacher, there this year of all years was amazing. She helped us achieve so much while we were stuck far away, so we're really thankful we had her. There were limits on everything that you could buy in grocery stores, just like there were here, and we had her going from grocery store to grocery store, buying the max quantities that she was allowed to of different items and delivering those to the home. After the initial shock of COVID hitting, once April started, we decided to kind of come back to our senses a little bit. We continued doing shipments of antibacterial soap and disinfectant to the home pretty much on a monthly basis for the rest of 2020. We also decided to quickly make our 5K that we had scheduled at Armco Park. We decided to move that way up and make it a virtual event in the hopes of at least raising something. So we canceled Armco and we decided to go virtual with Strides for Education. Our 5K took place the last week of April, and it was actually a huge success. We had people from 8 different countries participate from all over the US, Colombia, England, Australia, Mexico, Guatemala, obviously, several locations, and we were just so amazed by the response that we got. People just wanted to be a part of something. This was when everybody was pretty stuck inside and relying only on going outside. So it was a way to connect and obviously raise a little bit of money to be able to continue helping. But that was April for us. In May, we were finally able to get our hand sanitizer dispensers, which you may have seen photos of, but we actually got them from a company that utilizes recycled plastic. So we were really excited to obviously help the home, but help the environment at the same time. And so we were able to put our hand sanitizer stations in strategic locations around the home. This is right around the time that our students began receiving virtual classes. So just like pretty much here in the States, schools closed down in March in Guatemala, and it took them a little while to get their ducks in a row to be able to go virtual. So right around now was when they started receiving TV classes for the public schools, and then also our trade school students began receiving classes in our computer lab, and so we actually increased internet capacity at the home to allow for their Zoom classes. And obviously we've always been super thankful for our computer center, but we never realized how very important it would be. It played a vital role in making sure our students didn't get left behind, so to speak. So they were able to continue their studies pretty much uninterrupted, which was really exciting. Obviously 2020 presented a lot of difficulties in fundraising, so we tried to do lots of little campaigns where we could get something to kind of help us through, and one of those was introducing new designer t-shirts that are actually still available on our website. We came out with some really cool, there's an education one, and then there's an I Love Guatemala one, so definitely check those out if you don't have yours yet. Basically with each shirt you're helping us provide the computer and English classes. So definitely check those out. Also in June, we were trying to figure out a way to obviously stay connected with our friends and family here in the States and stay as connected to the kids as possible. So we actually had the idea for our first ever virtual summer camp, which we called iCamp. And it was going to last the entire month of July. So a lot of June was dedicated to actually planning out that virtual camp. So in July, we started iCamp, and basically the idea was Monday through Friday for the entire month of July, there would be a different activity uploaded to Facebook for kids around the elementary to high school levels to do. And our kids in Guatemala participated with them as well, for the most part. There were science experiments, there were art projects, there were fitness activities. We had so many activities and we got such great feedback because this was really when, it was summer break for kids here in the States, and our kids were in Guatemala, were obviously cooped up still, and it was just a way to kind of keep them entertained. So that was iCamp, and that was the whole month of July. It was a lot of work, definitely paid off. Also in July, we were really lucky to be able to partner up with an organization that was actually started by my students. When I lived in Guatemala, I was a teacher, and those students are now high schoolers. They actually graduated this year, but they started an initiative called Cajas de Esperanza, or Boxes of Hope. And they were basically packing boxes that could feed families for a different amount of, depending on the size of the family, it could feed them for two weeks. And so we were able to get several boxes from them, and we were actually able to feed over 150 people for 2 weeks. And this was more aimed towards the villagers. So obviously when COVID hit, the home had to close their doors to a lot of the kids that they usually help. There's usually 200 or so kids who rely on coming to the home for meals, but for the safety of the kids living at the home, they had to stop that help. And so we were really worried about the people out there. And so that's why we partnered up with Cajas de Esperanza to offer at least a little bit of relief to the villagers as well. And we were also able to supply each member of the staff of Hogar Miguel Maguane with a box for them to take home to their families. Another thing that happened in July that was just so awesome to see, the students of Hogar Miguel Maguane participated in an in-house talent show. So they had art categories, they had dance categories, singing, instruments, and we were actually invited, our board was invited to judge their talent show, which was obviously a very tough job. But at the end of July, just to celebrate their talent show, and the end of iCamp, we were actually able to send down money for them to have a celebratory lunch, which was fried chicken and Skittles, which are their absolute favorite. So we were really excited to have that connection with them in July. July was a really fun month. In August, a few really important things happened. We were finally able to get our hands on a shipment of vitamin C that we sent to the home. It was really tough to find vitamin C both here in the US and abroad, but in August we were finally able to, so we sent that on. We also introduced our Infinite Chance masks, which are made in Guatemala by an organization that gives back themselves too. So for every mask you buy, you're actually providing a mask for somebody else in Guatemala. And it was really a great fundraiser for us. We still have them available. They're on our website, infinitechance.org. Lots of different designs, so definitely get them before they run out. We've heard raging reviews about them, super comfortable, so definitely check those out. But that started in August. In August, the Guatemalan government also started lifting restrictions, and Estuardo actually invited us to come in and start our English program, which we were really excited to do, but we had some challenges. Number one, all of our materials were still here, and we had no way of getting them to Guatemala, at least without paying a fortune. But Monica is super resourceful, very creative, and she actually got to work and created handmade materials and decorations for the classroom in preparation. And with only $100, she was actually able to buy enough supplies to get started with the kids. Our main issue though was that the storage facility the storage area that the home had said we could convert, which we had planned on converting in March, was still, full of stuff, and we didn't have the hands there to get it started. But honestly, to my amazement and surprise, one morning I woke up and they had sent me photos of just what I thought in the moment was just the most perfect classroom. Apparently the kids had worked tirelessly for 2 whole days themselves, emptying it and cleaning it, and had turned it into a classroom for them. And then that was so inspiring to see, because it was them wanting to learn English and saying, please come and teach us, here's the room. And so really they made it possible for us to start our English classes. Monica took every preventative measure that she could. She's fully masked the entire time, cleaning between classes. The hand sanitizer stations are there. So we proceeded with caution, but before we knew it, the room was transformed with these handmade decorations and materials, and it was just a thriving English class. And it was really inspiring to see in the midst of a year with a lot of non-inspiring things. In September, we decided to host a virtual Split the Pot event, a creative way of raising a bit of funds and having fun with local people here. And that went really well. And it was gonna run until actually November 20th to celebrate International Children's Day. And something that really cool that happened in September is we started getting news from Estuardo that the trade school boys were actually starting to fix things around the home using the skills that they've learned. Like in this video here, you'll see Diego, who is a welding student. He noticed that the cafeteria tables and legs of the chairs were starting to break, and so he got to work using the skills that he had acquired and that he was still studying virtually. So that was just really cool and inspiring to see it come full circle, to see the boys giving back at their home. In September, the Guatemalan borders also started opening slowly, and we were cautious. We wanted to see how that first round of opening went. We did have another group trip in November planned, and in September we actually decided to cancel that just for safety reasons. Even though the Guatemalan borders were opening, there were no cases of COVID, and there still are no cases of COVID in the home, and we didn't want to be the ones to bring it. So we did decide to cancel our November trip in September. In October, a couple of fun things happened. On October 1st, it's El Día del Niño in Guatemala, which is Kids Day, where kids are celebrated, and we were able to send a celebratory meal. Guess what it was? It was fried chicken. They love fried chicken, so we sent that down for them to enjoy on October 1st. And then another cool thing is that our kids did a live concert on Facebook, and so we were able to show our public their musical talents. Lots of people joined in to watch them live and support them. It was about a 2-hour concert, and it was awesome to see, and a really cool way to stay connected. In November, our English program kept going. We started getting videos of the kids practicing and photos, and they were just so excited to be learning. We didn't start classes with the young kids yet, because it was a lot easier to social distance with the older kids, so we started around the 3rd grade mark. But Monica would tell us that the younger kids who weren't receiving classes yet were at the door listening in and practicing from the outside. So we do have plans of getting started with them next year, but it just goes to show everybody's really excited to be learning English. In November, our Split the Pot winner was announced, and Infinite Chance actually raised just over $2,500 from our Split the Pot. So that was an excellent small campaign. And also we did a huge Black Friday mask sale, so that went really well. And finally, December, here we are in December, 2020, you would have thought not much would have happened, but really even more happened. So in 2020, with our canceled classes, Monica actually missed 16 class days. But during those times, she was, helping us run all these errands and doing deliveries to the home. But she said, as soon as we opened up, she actually voluntarily started doubling up on classes. And she has almost made up all of those days of classes. She has 3 more to make up in January, but total she would have only missed 3 class days. of English classes, which is incredible, and we're so thankful for her. So the kids really are up to speed. Again, we want to start with the younger kids as soon as it's safe to do so next year. But considering the circumstances, only missing 3 English classes was just awesome. And one of the most exciting things that happened in December is that 4 of our original trade school boys are actually graduating from their programs, and they have actually moved out to an apartment. They're renting it all together. They're spreading their wings. And even though not many places are hiring right now, they're actually working at the home to earn a little bit of money. 2 of them are working in the laundry areas, and 2 of them are working actually as teachers for some smaller boys. But as soon as the economy picks up in Guatemala, we're going to be actively searching to place them in jobs related to their fields. But it's a huge accomplishment that they have graduated with these degrees and that they've moved out. To celebrate that, we actually gifted them with a microwave, which they really wanted for their new apartment, and lots of cleaning and general supplies for their new house. So big congratulations to those 4 boys. It just goes to show, the opportunities that education can provide. So as you can see, 2020 was definitely different for us, but it does not mean less happened or less was done. If we're able to achieve all of that during a pandemic, I can only imagine what we can all do together in the very near future. If you want to get more involved and have a long-lasting effect with our students in Guatemala, please consider joining Daré, which is our $20 a month pledge program. Daré is Spanish for I will give. So if you'd like information on how to join that and help us do all of this and more as soon as we're able to, please go to infinitechance.org/Daré. Also, if you're interested in traveling to Guatemala as soon as it's safe to do so, keep checking our website. We have a couple of trips announced already. You can also write to travel@infinitechance.org to receive updates and announcements on upcoming trips. If you're watching this before Christmas, we hope you have an incredible holiday season from all of us at Infinite Chance and from all of our students. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We will see you in 2021. It is a date, and we will be back in Guatemala soon. Thank you so much for all of your support. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Infinite Chance.